Coming to you live from the palatial studios of PBJ Productions. Welcome to Patrick and BJ Talk Real Estate, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything as it relates to real estate. Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're back talking all things real estate. Thank you for joining us today. We have a special guest here today, Russ Cass, who is, are you the owner?
I'm the owner.
The owner of HomeCheck Home Inspections. And Russ has been doing home inspections. How long have you been doing them for?
In 1940, 25 years. Okay.
I thought you were going to say 1940.
I was.
Well, you age really well.
That was different.
So, we're really thankful that Russ has made time in his busy schedule to hang out with us. We would just want to talk about home inspections because they're so important for our clients, both for sellers and for buyers. And so, maybe let's start with this, Russ. What do you think is the most important part of your job?
Well, first off, I want to say thanks for being here. The whole town talks about this, and I just am grateful to be here. So, having got that out of the way, the most important thing about a home inspection is you're buying something that's going to be an asset and a home. Mm-hmm. And if you do it right, with the right direction, the right people, the right team, it's going to grow your equity. It's going to give you the stepping stones to the future for not only you, your children, your grandchildren. It's a really, really important thing. Screwing it up is bad. And so it becomes vitally important to make sure you've got the right people leading you into what to buy and the right people telling you conditions, doing full condition assessments, and leading you down the path of, I guess, financial security for your family.
I really like how you put that in perspective, all in like one. That's basically a soundbite right there, right?
Well, it is real. I've watched people over the last 25. I mean, I've been doing home inspections for 25 years, but my background is construction, appraisal, building development, and I've watched people grow their equity and their families' futures and their fortunes in property.
Sure.
So just touching on your history, your background, you're not originally from Canada.
No, I'm from South Africa.
And what were you doing there?
Well, I was a carpenter, started out there in the 70s. Then I got conscripted into the military and spent a whole lot of time there. It was very, very exciting. Not as exciting as home inspection, but wars never are.
Did you get deployed?
I did. I fought in a number of places. And like I say, it was exciting times. Angola, Namibia.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. So,
yeah. What brought you to Canada?
The will to stay alive.
Will to stay alive?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And a future for my children.
Fair.
Sure.
And that's honestly what I said earlier. It's all about your family, about quality of life, and everything you do in terms of how you spend your money, how you earn your income. It all has an effect.
Sure. Now, as someone who's grown up in South Africa, are you a rugby fan?
Oh, yeah. Is the Pope Catholic? Is the answer to that question? Yeah.
Are you paying attention to what's going on right now?
Big time.
Big time. So my pastor, he's a South African also, and he's like hardcore.
I like him already.
Right. So I poke at him because I'm an All Blacks fan.
Yeah.
So I poke at him, and he's like, I said to him, I said, I just about bought an All Blacks jersey for you online.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? They're going to be done here because they're having a pretty rough go right now.
I mean, this is digressing, but it's the most interesting World Cup ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it is anybody's game to win.
So I know you guys lost to Ireland.
Well, we actually drew. The ref didn't see it that way, but
I'm going to totally tell Mark about this episode when it posts because he's going to be like, yeah, that's right.
So home inspections.
Yes, of course.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes of home inspections. Home inspections have been around. I think we're now the longest established company in Victoria.
HomeCheck.
Yeah, there was one before us. The fellow is actually a realtor, if he still is. And the guy he sold to is gone, so I think we're now the longest established in '85. I got into the business in 2000. My background, as I said, is construction, carpentry, development. And I've watched the industry change, but the fundamentals are still the same. And in the background, there's kind of a fight for who's going to regulate home inspections going into the future. I'm guessing it's a very passive fight because it's not like the wars I've been in, but what I'm seeing is the regulator of currently home inspections. There's no real forward planning, not trying to knock the regulator here. It's just, I want standards all over the place. Different home inspectors fall under different standards that they choose. Right. And there really needs to be some cohesion because home buyers deserve better.
So when you say standards, let me just interrupt. When you say standards, so there's like for us in real estate, there's a standard of care that's expected of us on certain levels for certain things that we all do.
Yeah.
Nothing like that exists right now for.
Well, it does, but it's all with different associations, not from the regulator's point of view.
Okay.
A regulator that looked after the industry in terms of regulation and then growth. It's a wonderful training ground. I have a number of guys with me who have moved on. We're all applied science guys. And their certifications are outside of home inspection. They do work outside of that, as I do. But we still do home inspections because it is a good area to hone your skills, to learn more about systems and building. Communication is vitally important. It is really a very holistic, at the moment, occupation that I believe is on the cusp of becoming a profession.
That's pretty amazing. You touched on what happens behind the scenes, and like an appointment would be made for a home inspection for a client.
Yeah.
We would let you in the door, meet you there, or maybe the homeowner might meet you there, and for the next 2.5 hours, 2 hours, we don't see you. We don't know what's happening. Like, we trust that you're in the attic, you're in the crawl space, you're looking for signs and symptoms of different problems that might occur in the future. So tell us what happens behind the scenes before we come back and see the report.
It is. I mean, my method of doing it is very, very systematic. I follow the same approach on every single house. I'm looking for how do the systems operate and then how do they integrate together. Because sometimes a system not functioning well will have an impact into other parts of the house. I had an interesting one yesterday, settlement and foundations. Nobody really knows the cause, but the cure is anywhere between $80,000 and $150,000.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
And if you're not prepared for that.
Right.
Well, if you're prepared for it, fine. And in this case, the buyer, I think, is pretty aware he's still got some investigative work to do. But those things in real estate sometimes create an opportunity. But it's got to be quantified for you to move forward with the risk. Otherwise, you're taking a risk without knowing the parameters.
What you're getting into.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I can speak to that because you did an inspection once for one of my clients on a house, and his intention was he was going to build a suite onto it, and everything looked fine. But what we found out from the inspection when you did it was the power was already maxed out. So he wasn't going to be able to have enough power to power the suite.
Yeah.
And so as a result, we ended up we walked away from the deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes that can have an effect where somebody doesn't move forward with that property. And sometimes it's an opportunity to go back and have a discussion.
Yeah.
All depending where the market is at the time.
Sure. And for him, it just didn't make sense financially to do the extra work that was going to be required to bring in the extra power.
Yeah. And that's what I was talking about with home inspectors generally, and no disrespect to any home inspector.
Of course.
It's a wonderful occupation, and there's all different skill levels. But if there was requirements to have a good understanding of building codes, electrical codes, fire codes, plumbing codes, and the ability to understand how to calculate these things and work out the loads, it would be to the benefit of homeowners and to the benefit of the real estate industry as a whole.
Well, you're being very kind, Russ, really, because I'm sure not all home inspectors are equal.
They
Just
are, just
as-
like all human beings are.
Just as all like realtors,
Yeah.
there's different experience levels, specialties, and expertise. And right, not to knock any other home inspector, but there's varying degrees of skill level. From Uncle Bob or your dad to come, like we've seen this.
Yep.
So, like somebody would choose to. Maybe their family member is a contractor or in trades and familiar. But obviously we let our clients choose what they would prefer to do, but not without giving advice and referring an expert. I see that a lot. But you do have some specialties when it comes to home inspection as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if it, for me, this is my recommendation. Every time there's a condo that somebody's interested in, your name is on the top of the list.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I'm not going to fool around with it. I'm going to refer to you as the expert. But you have extra designations, extra expertise, and
Correct.
services that you can offer for that as
Yeah,
well.
especially with the strata, right?
Yeah, that's as an applied science technologist where I'm registered, and they regulate me as well as consumer protection. I have two regulators. Actually, I've been married 40 years, so three. But the regulation from applied science also comes along with designations. So you can increase your skill level and then have your competencies certified, and then you can begin to practice in those fields. And you're constantly peer reviewed. I actually sit on the investigation committee of applied science, and I see complaints coming in, and I realize that often a high percentage of those are just the lack of additional training or education would have avoided the circumstance. And that's what I believe home inspections with that driver going on, with a regulator who truly understood technologists, what home inspectors are called in that group as technical specialists, and cater to their ongoing needs of education, CPDs. If there was an issue that was a complaint from a client, there's a full set of investigation mechanisms that are set up. And I think that's what would move the industry forward and take away a lot of stress from clients.
I love that, and I appreciate that you give back time and effort back to the industry that's selfless.
Well, like I said, I've been married 40 years. Getting out of the house every once in a while is a real good thing.
See other
I love my wife.
You see other adults, right? The kids are all out. Like
Right. Well, hey, you know what? We're out of time for this episode,
Wow, that
so
was
we're gonna
fast.
it's quick. We're gonna wrap it here. We'll come back and do another episode. But if you haven't, please take a minute and subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. And we also have a book coming out, right? We haven't talked about it in a while.
I'm
but we
still
have a book.
I'm still working on it.
But we have one coming out. I think you can. What do they do? It's just a
Sign up to the newsletter. There's a link in the description
Right.
below the video, and as updates as it gets closer, you'll be notified with that.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.
And thank you, Russell, for being here.
guys.
Catch you in the next video.
See ya.
Thank you.